rotate your phone. You can't turn your phone while you're recording. We're sideways now.
Ah, is it sideways?
I'm sure it is.
Oh,
It said
can we do like
rotate.
this?
I'm sure now we're.
That looks right.
It looks right to us. We'll have to see.
Let's see who comes on. Let's see
First
who comes on
person here gets to tell us if we're sideways. We're charging the phone tonight while we're filming. Hi, Miss Judy. Are we
Miss Rollins.
sideways?
Are we sideways, Miss Rollins? And I gotta look that way, so that way.
We don't
We're
know.
gonna figure it out. Leslie, good to see you. Kind of. Hey guys, happy Thursday to everyone. As we jump on here, 7 o'clock ish. Tommy, glad you're here tonight.
Tonight's more
You'll
like an
notice-
ish. We're a little late.
Stop,
Okay.
Miss Rollins. Wonderful,
Sweet.
wonderful.
We weren't sure if we were sideways.
We didn't know.
First, it said we would need to
Whatever
rotate.
day this is the day when things start to change. You know what I mean? One, the
Start to
phone is
change.
sideways,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're charging it because our phone's dead. Two, for the first time ever on
Water.
the front porch
I think
devotions,
this might be the second time.
we're drinking water instead of
Well,
coffee. Cafe.
I don't think it's changing for good. Just today we had a project in the yard.
Just today. We're gonna try to.
And so
Yeah.
we're also not very clean.
Some of us don't smell very good.
Some of us don't smell very good.
We're getting there.
We're putting a fence around our garden.
Yeah. Take that, dear. You know what I mean? So far, hang in there. We're gonna see what happens.
We actually
My luck.
planted the garden and then waited to see if the deer were going to be a huge problem.
I think they're
And
tall
they're
teams.
not. So now that we're putting this
They're
fence,
probably gonna go out there. If they go out there tonight, we're just
now
gonna
it's probably going to be on.
break the law.
But I think it's a nice looking fence. We built the gate, which took a lot of math,
It's a nice looking fence.
lots of geometry.
Lots of geometry. Shawnee said she
It
wasn't getting into
shouldn't-
trigonometry. I was like, me either. I'm definitely not busting out trigonometry in this mug.
It shouldn't be that hard to make an X inside of a rectangle. Turns out there are some things.
So, if you ever want to drive by and go, wow, that X is crooked, knock yourself out.
It sounds very simple, but we made it a little. It
Yeah,
took
yeah.
longer. It didn't take that long. It just took longer than in my
It's
mind, I was
longer.
like, this will take 15 minutes.
That's right.
It's definitely not 15 minutes. So we're a few minutes late because we thought we might want to clean up a little bit,
Some
but
of us
not
cleaned
much.
up. You just changed, didn't you?
No, this is me.
I guess I'm
Straight from the garden.
a little sweaty. It's okay. We're in a hat here. Anyway, so here we go. Front porch style. We did venture out to the Home Depot
We
today.
went to the Home Depot with the kids
That was
in
something.
their masks. They kept their masks
The
on
kids did
about
great. The kids did great.
70% of the time.
I'm going to preach the shortest sermon you will ever hear Danny Harrell preach, though. You ready? Be kind. Amen. Close in prayer. That's the whole sermon. Now we're
A
just
lot
going
of
to unload
judgment out there.
that. Wow, y'all! What
the
in
public
heaven's name?
arena.
We have lost our ever-loving mind. Like,
Don't elaborate too much.
I'm not
You're
gonna
making me
elaborate.
a little nervous.
be kind. That's all I'm going to say. Be kind. That's the sermon. Be kind. Thanks, Hannah. Good to see you, girl. Or via the
Taking 3
internet.
kids to Home Depot was already sort of an adventure before Corona hit.
Wow. My kids
Taking
love,
3
my
kids to Home
love
Depot,
it.
you're constantly like, no, you can't climb the ladder. That's only for the staff.
That's right.
No, please get down from the ladder. Still not the ladder.
No, not the ladder.
Get
Watch
out
out.
of the
The wood can
bathtub.
fall.
But now it's all of that, plus they're not supposed to touch anything. They're supposed to have a mask on. They're not supposed to touch their face. You're not supposed to touch your face.
Yeah, we're just supposed to be like robots. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure
It
how we're
doesn't
going to...
work. In real life, let me tell you this, it does not work.
Doesn't work.
Thanks, Hannah.
Hannah, you
That's
look
a
great,
very
girl.
sweet compliment.
Hannah, how's your mom? You can comment a little bit. Been praying for. I need to check on Susan.
She's been
She's
putting
still
some
recovering.
stuff up on Facebook
Still
about
recovering.
mom, but
Jonathan, hey, I just got excited a little bit ago. Realized I missed a call. And Natalie, that's crazy. In that order, I missed a call from Jonathan and Natalie. Wow. Well,
Natalie, I
I'll
got your
call
text
y'all back.
message now.
She got
Actually,
your text
Mama
message now.
got in touch with me.
Kevin Kelly said he's watching.
So
but
now
he's
I
riding a
know.
bicycle.
Oh,
There's
Kevin.
not a chance. He's just doing that for the numbers. Kevin, how are you watching and riding at the same time?
He's
I respect
live.
you. I respect. Hey,
Now he's on a bike ride.
it
with
counted.
Winston.
It counted on there. Get those numbers up. I like it.
It's a view.
Thanks, neighbor.
3 seconds is all it takes. And actually, it does only take 3 seconds.
Anyway,
For
she's
a
doing much
view.
better. Wonderful. I don't, Jonathan. It's personal.
It's not
Alyssa,
personal. We
I'm
do
glad you got
answer
to-
calls if possible. Sometimes it's not possible. It's not personal. It's really not. It's not personal for me.
It's personal, John. It's
Well, it's
personal.
not personal for me. I have a bad reputation with answering the phone.
I know. It's crazy, Tim.
Once you put that out there, though, that's what people say about you, whether you answer the phone or not. So then it's like, well,
Now
might
it's
as well.
answering. No, I did it. I missed a call from both.
He didn't
And
answer at
Justin
all.
Kennedy. I missed a call from so many people.
Well, my mom texted me and she's like, "Didn't Natalie call you?" I'm like, "No, Natalie didn't call me." Actually,
You know what?
she did.
They're just gonna start giving up on me too. It's okay though. I'm happier that way.
At least we've moved to the middle of nowhere, and look,
It's
Somehow,
the service.
The church is commenting that we always.
Always.
Who's commenting?
Somebody's commenting from Madison campus.
Okay.
Do. I
not
don't
me,
get
it's
it.
not him.
It's not us.
There's a few other people it could be.
Weird. Somebody's always there. You never know.
They
JK.
finally put the automatic responder on the church one, so it's like, thank you for messaging us. We appreciate your message. Just so none of us have to actually message
Just
right
so
back.
none of us have to do that. We're trying.
I try to answer your calls.
You try to. You do.
About half the time I do.
I'm not worried at all, baby. I love you.
That's sweet.
Just the way you are.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, that's good because I really don't answer that.
It's
I don't
not
answer
that,
a lot.
It's not that we're lazy.
I don't have my phone near me a lot of the time.
So we just don't care. It's okay. They say I don't answer it. Thanks,
Thank you,
Tammy.
Tammy.
Call us. We'll miss the call. We'll call you back. You'll miss the call. And guess
I
what?
will miss
we'll
your
still be
call.
friends. And if I see you at Home Depot, I'll be kind to you. Let's just even the playing field for everything.
With or without.
Y'all, all I'm saying is
With or without.
if everything keeps going the way it's going right now, there are some sermons a coming. You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness. Y'all, brace yourselves.
Good glory. But we're in the book of
Good
Nehemiah
glory.
tonight.
Good glory.
We watched another episode of that Sweet Magnolias last night. What was the funny phrase they said?
Oh,
They didn't.
goodness.
I mean, I
don't
make
know.
up phrases all the time. They make up some crazy phrases.
Y'all, if you're from Covington,
Thanks, Tim.
it's a great show. You should watch
Y'all,
it. Every
Covington's all
single
over that
scene.
place.
It's like, oh, I know that place. Oh,
Natalie,
that's cute.
Shawnee's going to call you back later, and she'll talk about it. Maybe she won't know to call you back. I'm just talking to people that are from Covington that we miss their calls.
I miss everyone's call. It's not
Y'all,
personal.
let's move on. Church at Home Depot.
Oh,
Well,
well, I don't
according
know.
to,
It
like-
just depends.
Nah, should I keep going with the sermons or not? You can constitutionally meet in Home Depot right now in every state in the union. But you can't meet in a church. You take it up with that,
Y'all,
you
don't
congressman.
provoke him. Don't provoke him. I'm just
I made the mistake today. I made a few
warning
mistakes.
you.
I was kind to people. But the second mistake was I read an article from a news
Oh, no.
organization, which I shouldn't
Oh,
have.
no.
And what was even worse, I read the comments under the
You
article.
should never.
And the article is about church. I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if you know this.
I probably do.
There are some people that don't like church,
I know that.
especially
That's
church
it's not a new-
articles about church on news
That's
organizations.
not a new
Holy cow! Like
fact.
I was learning all kinds of stuff.
News articles about church are almost always terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty much true.
Um,
I think he actually does
well,
answer my
whoever's
calls.
responding
This is
at
getting
Lake Point.
interesting. Lake Point. Every time Lake Point Madison calls me, I
Very
pick up the
mysterious.
phone. And somebody liked it. The question is who liked it? What's happening? This is the
We're
weirdest
about
thing.
to find out who's on the answer to call list and who's not. No, there's
Well, I
really not a
can't-
list.
Oh, why not?
It's on Netflix, so
You don't have Netflix, Anna?
someone I
I'm
didn't
just
know
rocking
there was
away on this
anybody-
front porch.
I know these chairs make us
Look,
seem
back. Close. Concave. Convex.
That's not.
This is concave. This is convex. Greater than, equal than. Alligator
It
mouth.
depends on. You're right, but
Alligator
unless
mouth.
you're talking about the rest of the shape, is
Let's talk about
it
the rest of
depends
the shape.
on the rest of the shape. But I see what you did there.
Kevin's going
I'm gonna
fast
give
on the
you
way
that
home and he
one.
went all the way back.
I'm gonna give you.
He's picking up speed.
It's because he knows you're gonna talk about him.
I am. We're in the book of Nehemiah tonight. If you want to grab a Bible,
Finishing the book
grab
of
it. We're
Nehemiah,
finishing
right?
the book of Nehemiah tonight.
We listened to Nehemiah at the garden on my phone, which is why
We
I died.
did. We did listen to Nehemiah at the
So I
garden.
don't have anything
I
underlined.
watch it. I can't take right, Hannah. I understand. I can't take it seriously. There's
Oh,
no
that's
Southern
what we.
hospitality.
I don't know if you saw the episode where we talked about this. Those accents are ridiculous, and it's not just the accent. It's like they're talking in a scene of Gone
One
with the
girl,
Wind.
yeah, it was like Gone with
What
the
was
Wind.
the one last night that we laughed out loud? I can't remember now, but
The girl was talking to like this. She said, "Well, I just declare. Well, I don't even know. Well, Lordy, I don't know."
it's
I'm like,
so
nobody talks like
awful.
that.
Please,
Hannah, you know,
you're filming this in Georgia.
they should contact
Just
some of
go.
us. We could break it down.
Have a conversation with people in the town you're filming and see how they're speaking
Just
to
saying.
each other.
Just saying.
It's supposed to be South Carolina.
We're
That's
critical
similar.
today. If you can't tell, it's Critical Thursday.
Well, Home Depot didn't
Home
go
Depot.
well.
I keep going back. Arthur Blank.
Anyway,
So we are
when
in
we
the book
had
of
ice
Nehemiah.
cream in the car, that's always
Ice cream, no, yeah, that's true.
Our drive-through habits are getting out of control.
We gotta
Let's be clear.
rein it in.
Our kids have eaten more drive-through food in the car in the last
During
2 or 3
quarantine,
weeks.
what's happening?
But specifically, recently.
I know.
I don't
Well, it's
know what's
bad.
happening.
We're eating at home tonight, though.
I think the church services being at a place now instead of being recorded has made us we're out on the weekend a little bit more, and now
Out
we're
on the
like,
weekend.
guess we should eat out to eat.
Yeah, and the fun things like
Your
the
drive-thru.
baccalaureate and the graduation
things
last
like
night,
that.
tonight, tomorrow night. Saturday giveaway, food giveaway. It'll be good.
So, yeah, I think we're just out a little bit more than we were, and we're like, hey, mommy didn't cook anything. Guess we're gonna eat drive-through.
Just pick something up.
We passed the Chick-fil-A today. Just came out of Home
Just
Depot,
came out.
and it's in the parking lot of Home Depot. And Nathan was
they-
like, yay, Chick-fil-A,
It's like
but
we're
you
just driving
just
past
ate.
it.
You just had lunch.
Pace yourself.
Anyway,
Boss.
but then we did have ice cream in the car, so that's always fun. Somebody always spills.
Something's always spilled. If you have your Bible, open up the book of Nehemiah, chapter 12 and 13. We're going to finish this joker tonight. If you'd like to read along with us, you can. A couple of things stood out to me when I was listening to it. So I don't have things underlined because it was an audio, not a visual.
And we were in the middle of...
digging holes.
Danny was trying to put a fence post in, and he had a lot of help from the kids.
A lot of supervision.
So much help.
It was a group effort. At one point I said, hey, Nathaniel, hold my watch. And he threw it on the ground and then threw dirt on top
He said,
of it.
oh, okay. Threw it down.
It's crazy.
Shoveled dirt on top of it.
Absolutely crazy.
Luckily, it's just your Father's Day gift.
Hey, but it was nice.
$7.
I can go 80
$7.95.
meters or something. I can swim to the bottom of the ocean
It's from Walmart.
with that watch. Okay.
Continue.
So in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 12, he lists a bunch of names again. He's giving order and structure. Nehemiah is big on that. I think it says a lot. He talks about the family leaders in each of these groups, all the way down to the governors. And then they dedicate the wall. The thing that stuck out to me in the dedication of the wall, which is like verses 27 to 43, the ones that stuck out the most to me was the fact that they had choirs and instruments at the dedication. Music was big in the Old Testament, and it's still big today. I personally think we could have a few church services where we just sang and played some instruments and people would go, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I mean, people just still like it. They had choirs that went ahead and went behind, and just sang praises to the Lord.
Seems like they sent one to this gate and one to this, like both ends of the city.
Yeah.
And had both choirs singing at the same time with instruments.
With instruments, and I mean, they dedicate it. They read the whole law a couple days ago. They're reading it again here. I don't know, something about that. It says in heaven that the angels are always singing too, holy, holy, holy. I think the Lord likes music. If you've never watched Louis Giglio's Whale, just Google search or YouTube that one.
I think we can do more than that.
Louis Giglio is a phenomenal preacher, and it's called Whales Singing.
I think it's Whales and Stars.
Whales and Stars. Look up Whales and Stars if you haven't watched it.
It's way better than it sounds.
It's really cool, and this is true. A good friend of mine actually had the privilege of doing his wedding. Jairus, you know what I'm talking
okay, yes.
works for, he's an aerospace engineer. Just saying. And he works up and outside of D.C.
Danny likes to name drop when he has an aerospace
When I got
engineer
people, I
friend.
name them. You know what I mean? So my aerospace engineer friend backed this
It's
up.
actually even more impressive.
It's
than
very
just
impressive because he's actually watching
gotta
stars right now. That's his job. But this video by Louis Giglio, the sermon by him, he had a group from NASA send him some images and some audio files from outer space, from the universe. And actually the universe is
Hubble
making
telescope.
noise all the time. It's consistently making noise. Just watch it. It's really cool. He just says what might heaven sound like if God was listening to the universe all at one time. So Louis
great
Giglio,
sermon.
Stars and Wheels.
Years
Check it out.
back.
But all the way down to here where we have choirs everywhere
And in
singing
verse 43,
praises.
it kind of concludes the choir section, and it says, at the end of that verse, the women and children also rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard afar off. So it gives you
They were
this
singing.
impression that the whole city is out, they're all celebrating, and everybody from around the
That's
entire
right.
area knows.
One thing I've
that
tried
they're
to start doing
celebrating.
recently is whistle. And I know that sounds weird. And I don't know how you whistle. How do you whistle? Out or in?
Out.
I felt that. Mine is in. See if you feel this.
Yours is always?
Always. Can't. Well, is the out? Nope. In. Anyway, the reason I'm sharing this odd
That
thing
seems
right now
Random.
is that
Disparate.
my buddy Daniel Klopfelter, his grandfather, along with a few other men specifically I've known, maybe women might do it too, but are known for their whistling. Have you ever known an old guy that's just known for his whistling?
Yes.
There is something about a man that likes to whistle, right? Like people actually talk about, like, man, he always whistles. And even, especially as they get older
That's
and
nice,
things keep
Blake.
going.
Blake says you give Louis a run for his money, and he likes Louis a lot.
Blake, I missed your call today too, but I did call you back. I think I called Blake back and left a voicemail. See, tag team back again. Anyway,
Okay.
with the whistling or with the singing, like some people are known for always just whistling or singing, just having a positive tune.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a sign of joy.
I think I'm a singer more than a whistler.
A singer. But like here, it says that Jerusalem was heard for the singing that was coming from their walls. And they weren't sad songs right now. I think they were very happy songs. The people around them very likely heard those songs and realized, my goodness, Jerusalem is filled with joy.
And I think it was good for the people around Jerusalem to realize this is a success. They've completed their wall. Everybody said they wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
but they did. It came from rubble to something new and beautiful, and they're happy about it. So it's almost like intimidating if you're a foe who lives near Jerusalem. You're realizing, well, this people group is back.
Yeah, this people group's
and they know it.
And they know it. It's one singing with one accord. That's what's up. So that's there, and then you get provisions for the worship. They have customs. Worship in the Old Testament, well, they had a lot of. They had a lot of traditions that they passed down. I'm looking forward to some of ours, and we'll get back to that one day. Anyway, in chapter 13, the same day as the book of Moses was being read, so they keep reading the law. They're always reading the law to the people. They go into a lot of good information here. Did you have anything that really stuck out to you? Because I had a couple of it toward the end.
I was just reading through the beginning again. I think ours are pretty much the same, because we sort of were.
Ours are pretty much the same. He starts listening to supervisors. He starts noticing, he addresses this idea that a lot of work is being done on the Sabbath, specifically like wine presses and figs and all these things are being processed on the Sabbath. And Nehemiah goes to town. He doesn't shy away. So he addresses it. He says, hey, y'all, stop doing those things. Because you figure in the midst of the law being read in the background that's saying things like, don't work on the Sabbath, he's seeing people work on the Sabbath.
Yeah,
so he's like, let's be consistent here.
He said he left and he was not in Jerusalem for the 32nd year of Artaxerxes. I can't remember what year it was they started building, but I think this is obviously after everything's complete. So I think Nehemiah's work is essentially done, and he goes back to the king. And so he's absent from Jerusalem after they've established all these traditions, all these rules, the tithe, how the tithe should be spent on different spaces in the temple, and the singers, and all the figs, like you said, all the things. Then he comes back in verse 7 and discovers the evil that Elishahib,
his words,
has done for Tobiah in preparing a room for him in the courts. So he's given Tobiah a place to live in the courts that's only for the priest.
Okay.
And it grieved me bitterly. Therefore I drew all the household goods of Tobiah out of the room, commanded to cleanse the rooms, brought back the articles of the house of God. And so he comes home basically and finds
they've already
like
gone
rented out a part of the church to somebody who's not even a priest. It's breaking all the rules. Like
he's like, you guys got to stop.
And then he sees the women making grapes on Sabbath,
and people buying and selling stuff. Y'all, the Sabbath. And we started out when we did the series 8 years ago, like on the back porches with the quarantine. We started out with that book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, which is still an exceptional book. I would still encourage everyone to get a copy of it or to read it. It's very good, and it's all about the Sabbath. And here he's addressing the Sabbath once again. I think it's good for us to remember as we're coming out of the quarantine, getting back to the new normal or whatever it looks like, that y'all Sabbath is still important. A big deal. Like he's still saying, and just hear me out on this. Like Jesus observed the Sabbath every week. He took one day of the week and just rested, which meant he didn't buy anything after church. He didn't even go out to eat. I'm just saying, like those were Jesus took those things serious. But here he's addressing those things.
You've read the end of the book better than I have, but you don't spend money on the traditional Sabbath. You don't have any spending of money.
No exchange of money. No selling of merchandise. No preparing of the food. Like now, when here they're saying preparing food, there's nothing wrong with eating. Again, like to me, it comes back to like what's the point of the Sabbath is to spend time together. So he's saying, hey, prepare the food the day before, so that on the Sabbath you can just be around the food and enjoy the food. It's a really big deal in the Old Testament.
And really, as the head of your house, you're kind of in charge of what Sabbath means today, and how we're not living as Orthodox, Old Testament, Jewish traditional. But I think that all the guidelines they have in place were there for a really good reason. Yeah. So it's not a terrible idea, especially if you're able to read that book. It sort of outlines how his family has interpreted it for them, and I think it's just a sort of a head of household decision. Yeah. What can we change about our life to make a Sabbath? And if you don't have a Sabbath in your life at all,
introduce that.
That's something that's in the Bible. It's listed as a sin.
We need to address that.
So find a way. I mean, something that we really hope to do.
We really are hoping to do that.
Back into a quote-unquote normal schedule. We're looking at what is it going to mean for the heralds to have a Sabbath and really just honor that time.
That's right.
It may not be as hard and fast as the Old Testament, but
I mean, it's something we're praying about and still looking into that. And again, you got to ask ourselves that question: why? Like here, Nehemiah at the end of his book, he says, "Y'all, come on, we're already starting to go the other direction." He says, "Honor the Sabbath," and the next one he says, "Be careful who you marry." Right. So to me, he's addressing two big points. He's saying, honor the Sabbath. Why? Because on the Sabbath, you set aside time to reflect on the Lord and the things that the Lord has done. Gives us time to remember what God has done. Brings people back around the focus point of the faith. And then he goes right into the saying, and he's hardcore about it, about like women are being married off to like
he is a little hardcore.
People. He says the word like foreign tribes and things. He says for real. He's like, I beat them. I pulled their hair out. I'm like,
but in his defense, a priest child, which was against all the rules for the lineage of priests were descendants of Levi. So it's like your sons are priests and their sons. They had allowed a priest to marry outside of the Israelites, which is especially a terrible
especially
idea.
Against the law. And for us, like, so what people say, oh, you're only supposed to, no. Like, for us today, it's people that are marrying outside of the Christian faith. Like, second sermon, just real quick. Like, it saddens me that for some of us with kids, some of y'all have kids a little bit older that are of marrying age, whatever that is. Like, just ask yourself that question. At what point in the conversation, if you were talking to a child or a young person that's about to get married, does the question of faith come up?
Right.
How often do questions of, well, can he provide? Can she provide? What type of job do they have? What's their economic status? What is their family like? Where does the Christian faith line up in there? Nehemiah is saying that's number one.
And a lot
He's
of
saying
young
it's got to be number
people
one.
come across this point in their life and they meet somebody and they think, well, I'll eventually get them to
We'll eventually
change.
get around that.
And very rarely is that
Who
the
you
case.
marry is going to make a big difference
You should
in your life.
never enter a marriage thinking that you can change someone.
No, and you can. God can work a miracle.
It's just a
God can do
really
anything.
uphill battle.
But pay attention to that. So these are big things, especially with the couples. I have 2 more couples that are getting ready to get married here, and I've been working with them and doing pre-marriage counseling, all those things. But y'all, like the faith really comes in there, and he addresses that hard. He says, hey, if you have children in your household of any age, like you say marriage or anything in our household now, all of our kids go, gross. One day I have a feeling that's going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my prayer for my kids is that as they do get into that stage of their life, and I'm speaking for both of us, like faith is number one. Like the rest of the things we can talk about and address, but my prayer, my number one prayer is let them be a person that loves the Lord, that's going to love the Lord like my children are going to love the Lord.
Yeah, definitely. And that's our prayer now for whoever they are out there. Because we pray for our kids' spouses today, even though they're very young and we don't know who they are or where they are. But you can still pray for them. And I think that way when you meet that person and you see that that's been a priority in their life, it's just going to be a really special thing to understand that you've been praying for that person before you even knew them.
Yeah. And let them know. Yeah. Like have those conversations. Anyway, but don't handle it the way Nehemiah did. Like Nehemiah beats people up.
And beat them up.
Not suggesting that's how we're supposed to go. Like I'm saying, pace yourself.
He was pretty upset.
But he was angry. He calls them like intermarrying pagans and stuff. That's harsh. But I'm gonna let Nehemiah speak for himself. But at the end of this, Nehemiah has a couple of phrases. I'm just going to read them out for the book of Nehemiah. One is, he says, remember this good deed also, O my God. Have compassion on me according to your great and unfailing love. And in the very last line, he says, remember this in my favor, O God. When he's talking about all the things that he's done, he's like, Lord, man, remember this. Remember the things, the sweat and the tears and the work that I poured into this. To me, again, I think the book concludes with showing his heart that is just very genuine.
Yeah, I think that Nehemiah's go through this entire book, and I do feel like this is probably his journal. He's just really seeking to serve the Lord and do what is right in the Lord's eyes. And he doesn't let people get in his way, and he just continually acts in a way that he's trying to do what he feels like will honor God. And so I feel like he's a great role model. In any task that you're trying to complete or any goal that you've set for yourself, Nehemiah has he sets a good process up, and he puts the word ahead of everything. Like even once the wall was completed, he didn't just stop with that. He said, now we're going to proceed on in the correct way.
In the correct way.
And this is just him checking back and saying, remember, there's a correct way. That's right. And we did this for a reason. So I really like Nehemiah. I like that he has all these prayers that's very introspective through the whole book. But he's a good role model.
Birds in that thing because they're
I know. There's birds everywhere.
There are birds everywhere. I'm a fan of birds, but they're everywhere right now.
Taking over.
Are we doing tomorrow night? Friday night lights? We have graduation stuff.
We're finished with Nehemiah.
Pace yourself, bird. What time is the graduation?
2:00.
Oh, we'll figure this thing out. So I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow night.
We don't have anything to discuss, so it might be brief, but we can check in.
We'll just come on and say, hey, we'll figure something out. This Sunday, we're going to be at the barn again, out at Peggy's barn, out on Reeds Ferry Road. Next Sunday, May 31st.
Wear your work boots.
Wear your work boots. Y'all wear some boots.
Actually, I wore sandals and they were okay.
And
but it
white
is
pants.
dirt.
Just saying.
And white pants. That won't happen again.
If you had cowboy boots, wear those joggers.
Somebody asked if we're going to be on hay bales, and I said, of course.
We're trying to get a bigger trailer. But if hay bales, hay bales. We'll figure it out.
A trailer would be preferable to hay bales.
Trailer, probably so. The next Sunday, May 31st, we'll be at the Morgan County High School I need to actually call them and make sure that's okay.
Yeah, we're just advertising
So
it.
if anybody is from the high schools watching this, give us a shout out and let us know that's okay. And then we'll start working back to the building.
To the
after that.
building.
All right.
Yay!
Pay attention to some details. They'll be coming your way. Be kind. Love one another well. And have a great night, y'all. We'll see everybody mañana.
I thought you were going to say Monday.
Mañana.
Tomorrow.
Bilingual. Tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye.